This is the installation of R, and say if you want to go for the Linux version or macOS version, all the three versions are listed here. So I'm going for the Windows version. So if you are trying for the first time, then install it for the first time. When you click on that, you can see this. So when you click on that, you will be able to download the file. So I'm going to cancel this. So you can just download it because the version is already downloaded here. So I'm just clicking over to it. Then I'm selecting English. You can read through the agreement, accept it, giving next. By default, all the files will be 32-bit and 64-bit will be installed. I'm going for the default version, R. I just want a shortcut in the desktop. So R, that's it. So it is as simple as that. It is very simple and easy. There is no hassle in this. It is very easy. So we just need to wait for it to get finished. This is one of the simple installations, as we could see, for when compared to the other softwares. So that's all. It just finished, and this is the 4.0.4 version. So actually the latest version of R. I'm just finishing it off. So you can also use go for the 3.6 version. That is also fine. So both the versions will be installed. So this is the 32-bit version and this is 64-bit version. So if I select it and just to know whether it's working properly, say get WD, it will just show the location. So it is as simple as the installation is done. So here today we are going to install R 3.6.1 for Windows. So we are trying to see it on Windows. So we are going to this particular site and we are downloading this R 3.6.1 for Windows. So that file will be downloaded. It might take some time. So this is downloaded now. So now I'm going to click onto it. It's a very simple installation for R. So giving permission. So selecting the language, you can select any language. So in that I'm selecting English. Said OK. And these are the terms and the conditions. You can just go through it, read it if you want, and click next. And this is where I want to. So probably R is already there. So I'm just making it as R01, one folder, because otherwise I will not be able to show you this. So I'm just installing all the core files. So automatically what happens is that the 32-bit files and the 64-bit files get installed. So next, so if you want to go for the customized setup, it's okay. Otherwise you can go for the default one. Say if you're going for the customized one, then you can go for these are the options which you will get. That is either MDI or SDI. So SDI is in the separate windows. So if you like to have it in separate windows, go for that. And say you can have plain text or HTML help, and HTML help is more readable and user friendly. So go for that. And you can create the desktop shortcut and save the version in the registry, everything. So now it is getting installed. So by default, both the versions will get installed, both the 32-bit version and the 64-bit version. If you are not interested in both the versions, then you can unselect the ones which you don't want. So that is also possible. So now everything, all the files and everything are getting installed. So it's a very simple process. So there is not much we have to do here. So it's a very simple installation. And once it is done, finish. That's all it is. Now when you go to the desktop, you could see two versions here. One is the 64-bit version, and the other one is um, the 32-bit version. So say if I click on 62-bit version, now it is selected and it is here. So that's all it is. So if you want to check the location, you could just try. I think I'm not very sure which one will come. Say this is the one or location where it is. So it's as simple as that. This is the installation for R. So now we are going to work with some commands. Okay, so get, once again, get wd just gives you the current working directory. So now, um, so this is the directory. This is very important to know what this directory is, because whenever you are trying to read some data, say if you're working on some iris data set, then if you want to use that particular data set, R will automatically go and check in this particular folder. And if you're saving something, automatically it gets saved at this particular folder. So this folder, to get to know the location of this folder, is very important. Say read dot CSV. So I'm going to read a CSV file, and whose name is iris dot CSV. Say if I'm trying to read this, it will throw you an error because it will tell you that that file cannot be opened and there is no file or directory, because it is just going and checking in this particular directory. So dir, if you say, you will get what all things are there. So it is just the documents folder, that's all. So there, when it goes and checks, it just clearly understands that iris.csv is not there. So if you want to specifically put your files in a specific folder, what you could do is you could go to the file and you could do the change directory and say, if I want my files to be in data mining, in R trials, okay, I'm setting this as my location and giving OK. So now, if you want to know the contents in that particular directory, so I'm just giving directory. So there is a file iris.csv. So now if I'm trying, so you could also use, as in the any other programs, you could use software, you could use the up and down arrow here as well. So I'm trying to read iris.csv. So it will just show you the iris data set here. So hope you understood. So now what happens is that whenever you are trying to get some file, or whenever you are trying to save the results, it looks in this particular folder. So this is what you have to understand. So in this, the first thing which we are going to do is that get wd. So whenever you open the R again, what happens, it goes to the default mode. So you need to go and change the directory, and wherever your data mining documents are to be, for the whole semester, make sure that you are putting at one place. So that's better. Okay, so now I have changed the directory. So you don't have to, look around for stuff. It will not be scattered, right? So that is best. So see, so this is the place where I'm going to put all my R files. Okay, so whenever I open, it is a custom, or it is a ritual that I need to go and change the directory. Okay, and now we are going to see something new that is called as the R editor. So for that, I need to go to the file and I need to open the R editor. So new script. So this is the new script. Okay. So before that, I'm just showing you what are the files already there in the directory. So we do have only iris.csv in the directory. Okay. So now I'm just copy pasting a small function which I have written. I'll tell you what that function is all about. So the function is first fun, the name of the function, and I'm just telling the R editor that it is a function which accepts an argument y. Okay, and now what I need to do with the argument, I'm going to apply an sqrt function, square root function, upon y, and that has to be assigned to the variable x. And what should I do? I should print that particular variable x. So this is what the whole function is all about. Now I'm trying to access this function from the R console. So this is the R editor and this is the R console. So I'm going to show you how they are related. So here I'm trying to call R function, okay, say of 100. Okay, what happens? It throws me an error. So it just tells me I cannot find that. And even if I list it, it just tells me character of 0. That means there is something inside, right? But now here it just shows that there is nothing inside. So that means that our console is not able to access this particular function. Now, how can I make, or how can I, from the R console, how can I utilize this particular scripts? So the first way is the simplest way. Okay, if your functions or the projects are real simple, or if you're just going to try a particular function, then only you will be able to use that. But still, you should know that the first way is you can simply copy, okay, you can simply copy and paste it on the console. Okay, so now if you do the ls list, you could see first fun. Okay, now if I'm trying first fun of 100, it will give me the value. But understand, I'm giving a dir here. In the dir, there is no function. That is, in the directory, I have just iris.csv. So it is just on the console. That's it. It has not been loaded to the directory. Now, if I want to load it to the directory, what should I do? Okay, so that is what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is first thing, I need to save this. So I am going to save in the R trials. Okay, I'm going to save it as first fun itself so that it is easier for me to understand. And for everything, the extension is dot capital R. So this is the common or conventional extension which we follow for R files. So I'm just saving it. Now, how can I load that particular script onto the console? Yes, there is a function for that. Sorry, not here. Okay, here. Now, if I simply try dir, okay, you could see first fun. So first fun is already there in the directory. Now I want to use this particular script. So what will I do? So there is another step, that is nothing but I need to load this first fun.r in order to use that particular function in the console. So for that, I have a command, that is source of first fun. It is small one. Okay, first fun.r. So now what am I doing? I'm loading that. I'm loading it. Okay, I'm loading this function. So now first fun is there and I could use it. Now if I give first fun of 100, I'll get the answer as 10. Say if I give first fun of 400, I'll get the answer as 20. If I give first fun of 340, I'll get some answer. So this is how it is. Now I have some more. So it's a project. So I have so many functions inside that. Okay. So if I have another function in the same project, say it's a simple function here, but still, say if you're doing a bigger project, say I need multiple functions. So say it is called a second fun. Okay. And here what I'm doing is I'm just getting a variable, an argument, and just multiplying with x, and I could give x. That's all. Okay, here it is not required because it will just print as such. Okay, so it's okay. So this is the function. So the function name is second fun, and this function, I'm just telling the editor that it is a function which takes one argument, and what it does is this is the body of the function, that is x into 50, and that will be printed as such. Okay, here we assigned and then we printed. Here we are just directly printing it. That's all is the difference. So now when I am if I'm trying here second fun of, say I'm giving, it is multiplying, so anything, so I'm just giving 10, it throws me an error. Why it throws me an error? Yes, you need to understand, when I have loaded this first one .r by using the source, there was only one function. Okay, now I have changed my code, so it's kind of, I need to compile it again, so I need to compile and load it again. So it's something like this. So what you have to do is you need to again use the source function and load, because it's the same name, so it is first fun.r. in the same file only I'm adding the second function. Okay, so first fun.r, so I'm just loading it again. Okay, now I'm going to ls. Okay, so I'm not saved it, so I'm saving it. Okay, and then ls. So now you could see second fun here. So now if I want to call second fun of say 20, it will throw me the answer 1000. Okay, if I want to call second fun of 200, so it will just give me the answer 10,000. So this is the way you basically work, and in your directory you will have two functions. One is firstfun.r, and so is it mandatory that we need to just open one file and keep adding it? No, it is not mandatory. You can even have another script. Okay, say if you have multiple projects to integrate, then you can have this as your main and this as your sub functions. So everything is possible. So you can open this, you can add your files in this, and then you could call accordingly. So this is how basically the R editor works. So there are two ways basically. So either you can copy paste the thing over to it. That means that in your directory you will not be able to find that. It is just the, you are just using it over the console. Otherwise you can save it, okay, with the .r extension, and then you have to load it by using the source. You have to load it by using the source. And if you are making any changes to your function to your R program, then what you have to do, you have to again load it. Then only you'll be able to understand the changes, or you'll be able to get the updated or the upgraded changes in the output as in the output. So that's all it is. So this is that. So hope you understood about the R editor. So these are the ways in which you could use the R console and the R editor. Thank you. So normally there is a confusion for the people who start R. Okay, what is R and what is R Studio? So the major difference is that R is just a programming language, okay, which will help you to do the statistical analysis. And R Studio is basically it's kind of a suite where you use R programming as the backend. So if you see the R if you're simply installing the R from the CRAN, and if you're using it, it will simply show you R GUI. And if you're installing the R Studio, you are basically installing it from the R Studio itself. So it's like, for working on the R, you don't need R Studio. But if you are working on R Studio, you definitely need R to be installed first. So that's a major difference. So if you are installing the R, you have to simply go to the Cran mirror. So these are the mirrors which are available. So you can select the most nearest mirror to your. Mirror is nothing but the place where, say if I am in India, so I probably select this Indian mirror. Or if I'm say near to some other place like Middle East, then I will select a place which is very closer to me. If I have a place there itself, then it's well and good. Otherwise, I have to say if I'm searching for any Middle East countries, it is not there. So I will probably try to download the CRAN from the nearest mirror, because it is the places where the servers are kept. So that's all it is. So say if I'm trying on India, then it takes to that particular mirror, and you will have all the options, and say according to what you want. If you're installing it for the first time, so you can download it from here and install it. So that's all is the R. But this steps has to be done initially in order for you to use this R Studio. And when it comes to R Studio, this is not completely free, okay, because R Studio comes in three different versions are available. So say if you're basically using for a company or something like that, according to your, so you can have your commercial license. And even if you are using for the institution or educational institutions, you need to get a license. Otherwise you will not be able to use it. And this is the only R desktop version which is freely available. So you could just see here what all things are available will be in the commercial commercial thing. And you could also see here, this is 5 users only can use the server pro for this much amount. And this is the RStudio server if you want to use. So that is there is a free version for it, and the desktop pro version is there. And these are the pro versions, and these are the normal versions. So in that, say if I'm going to download this, I could just download this in my system. So it takes some time, so I'm just pausing the video. So now it is downloaded. So what I could do is I could open this, and I'm going to install this RStudio version. So I'm just installing it, clicking on it. I'm clicking on the administrative version. So this is the RStudio setup. So program files, RStudio. I'm just installing it. It'll just take only a few seconds. I'm just pausing it by then. It is almost finished. So just give finish here. So that's all as the installation. It is very easy installation which is available for you. And once it is done, so now I think I have not given that RStudio icon automatically to become on the screen. So you could just go to the search button and search for RStudio. So it is here. So RStudio is here. So I'm just clicking over that and just allowing it. Okay, so this is the RStudio which is already there. So you could just see this is the screen for the RStudio. Okay, so one second, this is the screen for the RStudio, and I will open R 64-bit. This is the window. See, this is the window of your R. So you could see the difference itself, in the GUI itself. So this is RStudio and this is R. So you could just see the difference itself in both the look and feel of it. So that's all is the difference. This you will feel like it is more user friendly for you to use, and this will look like more traditional or for conservative way of doing things. So that's the only difference in here. So hope you understood what is the difference between normal R and RStudio here by this particular video. Thank you so much.